Hey there folks, Wrel here. The public test server was recently updated with some balance adjustments, some new weapons, and some interesting experiments as well. In the balance department, semi-auto snipers, battle rifles, and semi-auto scout rifles have a reduced delay before the weapon begins settling. Basically, what this equates to is a feeling of lower vertical recoil and more spammability. Right now, this is a little bit too powerful on battle rifles in particular. Semi-auto scouts and semi-auto sniper rifles feel about right maybe, but there's probably some tuning left to be done. Gatekeeper's acceleration over time is now where it was supposed to be last patch, which should hopefully make the weapon feel a lot better than that dumpster fire it is currently on live. The visibility of first-person tracers will probably be adjusted again before this goes live as well. There was a stopgap fix to try to prevent projectiles from disappearing at 20 meters, which is why the projectiles currently look black until about the distance that they start dropping. And then you can see the particle effects. But there were some code fixes that seem to render this adjustment unnecessary, so I think it's safe to remove it. Rocket Rifle did receive some damage adjustments, mainly so that the max units aren't getting too clipped. There was also a new common pool locklit ammo type, which sacrifices dumbfire capabilities for lock-on potential, and that may never go live at all. Some unfortunate news is actually that the Rocket Rifle will most likely not make it into this next update either way. The NSX Naginata did get a 0.4 second increase to its short and long reload times, which is probably the only change that it's actually going to get. So if you're a content producer, feel free to review the Naginata once it hits live. I'll probably do the same, and then we can compare notes or something. Some carbine hipfire bloom adjustments were made as well, mostly to the lower damage output carbines, just to kind of tighten them up and bring them to a more useful state, with the exception of the Lynx, as that was just brought into about half a tier based on its profile versus its controllability. Minor stuff you may never really notice, but it just starts to readjust the overarching formulas that we use with how we approach certain weapons' cone of fire characteristics. Phase Shift got some heavy adjustments again as well. Mostly it received some heat tuning, which helps alleviate some of the concerns people had with the first iteration. Feedback has been surprisingly sparse since the update, so if you're interested in this weapon at all, feel free to check it out on test and then share your feedback. There are some new toys on the public test server as well, the first of which is the NSX Tomoe, which is an automatic scout rifle with a 3 headshot kill at any range, high rate of fire, small magazine, low body shot damage. What this gives you is a weapon that is great in the hands of a high skill, high aim player, but it is extremely punishing for anyone who isn't that. Right now it's kind of to extremes, which would most likely cause more frustration than it's worth on both sides of the fence, so you're likely to see some adjustments before the thing goes live. The NSX Amaterasu is a knife that has lower damage output than a normal quick knife for quick melee attacks. Actually, the key gimmick, and it definitely is a gimmick, is that it throws crescent waves of energy at targets. This is more for cool factor than anything else, since the damage starts out high, but tapers off really quickly over distance. Its usefulness there is that you basically have a crappy infinite damage pistol, and you can finish off targets who are running away from you. Or you can soften them up as you close the distance, because it does have perfect accuracy, barring the scope sway, and then you can kind of hop into distance and slice at them, and then when you get into range, you can just finish them off. More realistically though, is that it's just going to be a fun weapon to play outfit games with, especially with the help of the new engineer deployable barriers, which are hard light, chest high pieces of cover, don't take damage from small arms. Right now they have this super massive impact effect, which they're not supposed to, and definitely will not be going live like this. In fact, they're not going live anytime soon, unfortunately, because we still need code to reward players for using these barriers, and then hopefully be able to create a directive around that as well. Also currently on test is an experiment. It's an experiment with vehicle knockback effects. Now, if you're using a Viper, an HE, or a heat-based weapon on your Lightning or main battle tank, you now have the ability to knock enemies around. Now this effect varies based on where you hit the target, what type of target they are, and how they're moving. And ideally it gives HE and heat-based weapons the ability to throw off the aim of AP weapons without specifically making them more powerful weapons. Problem with this effect is that as it stands, there's a delay before you notice a reaction from the player. So if I throw an HE round at them and I get the knockback, or what I feel should be the knockback, it may not happen for a quarter of a second or a half a second later. And this is due to client-server interactions. At the moment, I feel like the delay is too long to mesh with the current game, and it'll be even more consistent during times of high server duress. Not going to scrap the concept entirely, as you can probably get away with using it as a minor source of feedback, to know that when you're taking damage, like especially from weapons whose projectiles aren't rendering and that sort of thing. So instead of just seeing your health bar magically ticking down, you'll get like a little bit of shake to just realize that you're actually getting hit. But as far as actual gameplay implications, this one may be dead on arrival. Fortunately, that's what we have test server for, so that we can vet these sorts of concepts in environments that are at least a little bit closer to live. But anyway, if this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and if you have any thoughts on some of the things that we've shown or talked about in this video, you can share them in the comment section down below. Thanks very much, folks. Wrel signing off.